too as well. John Roberts, thank you so much. And joining me now, Nile Gardiner, director of the Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom at the Heritage Foundation. All right, Nile, good to see you tonight.
Great to see you, Shannon.
All right, we want to start with this. One of the president's recent tweets, because he's had a lot to say on this trip. He says, we'll be leaving the Philippines tomorrow after many days of constant meetings and work in order to #MAGA, make America great again. My promises are rapidly being fulfilled. Now, that's what he had to say. I want to play what Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had to say on the Senate floor about how he thinks this trip went.
Without exaggeration, the President's trip to Asia has been one of the most embarrassing foreign trips a president has taken in my memory. It shows when it comes to foreign policy, President Trump is not ready for prime time.
How would you grade this trip?
Well, I think overall the president's done pretty well, actually. I think it's been a very successful foreign trip. It's been very well received. I think it's been a very powerful reaffirmation of American leadership on the world stage. And not really sure what Mr. Schumer was talking about there, but it does sound a little bit ridiculous, really. I do think that the president actually represented the United States very well on the world stage. And I think overall, if you look at his track record on foreign policy, President Trump has so far done very well. I mean, I would say a lot better than his predecessor, Barack Obama, who was obsessed with apologizing for America on the world stage and leading from behind. So I think you have a far tougher brand of American leadership right now, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, they definitely have a different strategy, the way that they approach foreign policy. What do you make of the president? Some say this dust-up over Russian President Vladimir Putin and the fact that he said, I believe when he says that they didn't interfere in our elections, that he believes it. Meaning he's saying that he believes Putin believes it when he's saying it to him. He got a lot of heat because he did go after some intelligence leaders and some within the community. Intel community felt like it was disrespectful. He's tried to clarify that sense. How do you think that's going to play out for him?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, without a shadow of a doubt, the Russians did attempt to interfere in the US election, as they have attempted to do so all across the world, especially in Europe. And it's vitally important, I think, that the United States sends a clear message that this kind of interference in the US presidential election system is completely unacceptable. I think certainly President Trump was trying to be sort of polite to Vladimir Putin, but let's be under no illusions here. Vladimir Putin is a ruthless despot who hates everything the United States stands for, and we simply cannot trust Vladimir Putin and his murderous Russian regime. And it's very important, I think, that the President of the United States does stand up to Vladimir Putin at every opportunity. After all, you know, American soldiers are on the front lines defending the Baltic states at the moment against the potential threat of a Russian invasion. And so the stakes are extremely high at this time. But let's be clear, I mean, the Russians are not our friends at this time.
Well, and here domestically, the president's already tweeting about this, talking about taxes and talking about the possibility of repealing Obamacare's individual mandate as part of the tax package. Here's what Vice President Pence told me when I asked him about that possibility last week. Any scenario in which the individual mandate under Obamacare is included, a repeal of that is included in this tax package?
I know it's under active consideration, and you know the president's determination to repeal Obamacare. We came close. We passed it out of the House of Representatives this year and came very close in the Senate, not once but twice. We're determined to come back to that issue next year, but I think the President and I are both interested in seeing the House and Senate consider the possibility of repealing the individual mandate tax as a part of this tax reform bill.
And quickly, he talked there about how they didn't get the Obamacare repeal done. How much pressure is there on them, on this president now who wants to talk about accomplishments, to get tax reform across the finish line?
I think there's tremendous pressure, and it's vital, I think, that you do have wide-ranging tax reform here in the United States. And it's significant that a lot of Asian countries at the moment are growing extremely rapidly with low tax rates, extremely low corporate tax rates. And the greater the level of economic freedom, the greater the level of economic prosperity. And so these tax reforms, I think, are fundamentally important for the long-term financial health of the United States. So I do wish the President all the best with his efforts this week. It's vital for the United States to maintain its position as the world's economic leader.
And for the GOP, too, if they want to prove to voters that they can get some of these big lifts done. Now, Gardner, good to see you.
Great to see you, Shannon.
Thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
in. All right, coming up, is all the